Hi friends! Today we're going to talk about some shapes. Now some of the shapes you probably will know already, so it'll be a bit of a review. But a little bit later into the lesson, we're going to talk about some very special kinds of shapes that maybe you haven't heard of yet. So let's get started with our review of our shapes. What is this shape called? A circle. Very good, friends. And let's look closer at Mr. Circle here. We see that there are no straight lines and there are no pokey corners on the circle. It is completely round. Now, I want you to look in your house. Do you see anything in the room that you're in that is shaped like a circle? It is round. Let's look together. I'll look in my room, you look in yours. I saw something. Did you find something? All right, I found a round clock hanging on my wall. It is shaped like a circle. What did you find? Now, the next shape is a square. And a square we see has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides and 4 pokey corners. Now, there's something that's pretty special about a square. If you look at each of the sides, they are exactly the same size. The top and the bottom and the left and the right, they are exactly all the same size. So when we see a shape that has 4 sides and 4 corners, and the 4 sides are all exactly the same size, we know it's a square. Can you look around in your house and find something in the room that's square-shaped? I'm going to do it in mine. I found something. Did you find something? All right, so I see a stamp. I was getting ready to mail a letter, and it's sitting over on my desk, and the stamp that I put on the letter is square-shaped, and it's got a flag on it. So that's what I found in my house that is square-shaped. Now let's do our next shape. What shape is this? This is a rectangle. Now let's look carefully at the rectangle. We see it has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides and 1, 2, 3, 4 pokey corners. Well, I know that a square has 4 sides and 4 pokey corners, but they look a little bit different. What makes them different? Let's look closer at the rectangle. So I see that the top and the bottom part of the rectangle, the line is the same size. The top and the bottom sides of the rectangle are exactly the same size. And I look at the left and the right, and I see that they are exactly the same size. But I see that the top is not the same as the left or the right side, and the bottom is not the same as the left or the right side. So that is what makes a rectangle different than a square. A square, all the sides are exactly the same size. Do you see that? But a rectangle, the top and the bottom are one size and are the same as each other. But the left and the right sides are a different size than the top and the bottom ones. So that's how you can tell the difference between a square and a rectangle. You have to pay close attention. Now, I'm going to look around my room and see if I can find anything that's rectangle shaped. You look around your room and see if you can find something too. Oh, I found something. Did you find something? Let me tell you what I found. I found my windows. My windows are shaped like rectangles. They have 4 sides, and the top and the bottom are the same size, but The left and the right sides, they're the same as each other, but they are not the same as the top and the bottom. So that's how I know it's a rectangle and not a square. And our last shape is a triangle. So a triangle has 1, 2, 3 sides and 1, 2, 3 pokey corners. Now, you can draw a triangle that looks like this. You could draw a triangle that looks like that. You could draw a triangle that looks like that. Or you could draw a triangle that looks like that. They all look a little bit different, but they all have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 straight sides and 3 pokey corners. So if a shape has 3 sides and 3 corners, even if it looks a little bit different, it's a triangle. So let's look around our houses and let's see if we can find anything in the room that's shaped like a triangle. I found something. Did you find something? So I found, in my house, I found a little flag. I have a little flag on the wall. And it looks like this. And it has the name of a school. It has the name ISU on it. That's where I went to teacher college to learn how to be a teacher. And it is a triangle. 1, 2, 3 sides and 3 corners. So that's what I found. What did you find at your house? All right. So those are kind of our basic shapes: circle, square, rectangle, and triangle. And we see these shapes lots and lots of places. There are other kinds of shapes that you'll learn about, but these are kind of the main ones that we see a lot. And these shapes are all flat. They have a front side and a back side, and they're flat. But there are some shapes that are a little bit different than these flat or two-dimensional, 2D shapes. Now, have you ever gone to the movie theater? And have you ever seen a movie in 3D where you had to put on the special glasses and it looked like things were popping out from the screen and you could touch them? I have, and 3D is a shortcut way of saying 3-dimensional. And that just means that it's not flat, it's not 2D. 3-dimensional means that you can touch it and you can feel the different sides of it. So there are 2D shapes like circles, squares, rectangles, and triangles. And then there are 3D, 3-dimensional shapes. And we're going to talk about those and what they are called. So our first shape, this is our first 3-dimensional shape. Does anyone know what 2-dimensional shape this looks like? Here, I'll turn it back around so we can see our 2D shapes. What 2D shape, what flat shape does this remind you of? A circle, yeah. If we feel it, it rolls around. So it's all around. It doesn't have any sharp, pokey corners or lines. So this is a 3-dimensional version of a circle. And there's a special name for a 3D circle. A 3D circle like this that you can roll around, has lots of different sides, it's called a sphere. Can you say sphere? Good. Spheres are like three-dimensional versions of circles. So I can think of some things that I can see in real life that are shaped like spheres. Balls that we play with at recess time are shaped like spheres. An orange that we eat can be shaped like a sphere. Are there any other things you can see in your room right now, or things you can think of that you've seen before that are shaped like a sphere? The next shape, I'm going to show you. Next shape is this shape. What shape does this look like? What shape does this look like? What two-dimensional one? It looks like not a square, because if we look at it carefully, we see this one is long, long, and then short, short. Oh, so it's not a square, but looks like a rectangle. Looks like a rectangle. It's a rectangular prism. Pretty cool. And this, boys and girls, this looks like we see same, 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 same. It looks like a square. And three-dimensional squares are called cubes. So this reminds me a lot of an ice cube that you put in your drink to make it cold. So cubes. What are other things we can think of that are three-dimensional shapes that look like a square? They look like cubes. Boxes, a lot of times, look like cubes. Blocks that we play with can look like cubes. Lots of different things. Maybe you see some other things at your house right now. And our last shape is this one. What two-dimensional shape does this one look like? It looks a lot like a triangle, right? It's got the 1, 2, 3 sides. But if we look at it, we see it's kind of round on the sides like that. So it's not a triangle, it is a three-dimensional shape. And the three-dimensional shape is named a cone. So this is called a cone. If you turn it upside down like this, what does it look like? It looks like an ice cream cone that you could eat ice cream out of. So that's one thing we see in real life that's cone-shaped. What are some other things that we see in real life that are shaped like cones? I'm thinking sometimes we put them on our heads when we're going to celebrate a birthday party, a party hat. That's a cone-shaped thing. That's a cone-shaped thing. So we have our two-dimensional shapes, our circles, squares, rectangles, and triangles. And then we have our three-dimensional shapes, our spheres, our cubes, our rectangular prisms, and our cones. So those are some fun 3D shapes that you can probably find some more examples of in your house. All right, friends, I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.